Greetings YouTube, 'tis I, the Taterbeard, here to show you my latest creation. Let's begin. This is the first in a series of videos I'll be making to document my creation of a 3D art piece for the 2021 Mount Gambier Fringe Festival. The festival this year has the theme of the Enchanted Forest, and so I will be making a fantasy-themed dark woods setting. In a picture I will be titling The Master of the Hunt. I'll be creating this piece using the 3D creation software Blender, which I've been learning through YouTube tutorials for about a year now. I've really taken a liking to Blender. It's an amazing program. You can do so much on it. It's an editor, it's a sculpting program, it's a basic 3D modeler, it's an animator, and best of all, it's completely free. It's the best 3D software I've seen out there, and it's 100% free, which is just incredible. I encourage everybody to download it and give it a try. Really is an amazing way to stretch your creativity. So in this first video, what good is an enchanted forest without some trees? So that's what we're going to be making. My previous experience in Blender fairly well has been restricted to sculpting individual items to turn into 3D models for the purpose of 3D printing. I have a Cults account, which you can link to using the link down below, and subscribe there to see the various things that I've uploaded to there that if you've got access to a 3D printer you can print out yourself. So this is really the first time I've used Blender to strictly make a 3D, a piece of art in 3D, so to speak. I haven't done a lot of work with textures, I haven't done a lot of work with lighting, all of that sort of thing, because it hasn't been necessary to make a model strictly to print out in 3D. You just have to have the model work on a 3D printer and that's it. So this will be a real learning experience for me in that regard of a whole bunch of aspects of Blender I've never used before. So what better way to start that than by making a single thing for the purposes of turning into a 3D file to print. So here we have the tree. I call it the Burton Tree. It's a nice fantasy tree with what will be a creepy looking face on the front of it. I'll end up polysculpting a few of these just for variation to sit in the scene. Obviously called the Burton Tree because it's very heavily Tim Burton inspired. I've always loved the use of curls and everything that he uses in his trees, so we're going to go for that. If you know anything about me, you'll pretty much know that every single project is going to be dark and brooding, so I wasn't going to do a regular fantasy forest, so dark and creepy it is. Now usually when I'm making an object like this, I'll start by building the main shape in basic geometry, just to save some time on the basic dimensions of it. So I made like a tree stump to begin with here, and from there I switched to what is known as the sculpting tools, polysculpting, to add in all these details, and that's what you've been watching for the last little while now. Blender has an amazing set of sculpting tools, and one of the best things about it is what they call dynamic topology, which essentially means the program will add and remove extra polygons to your model as you sculpt, so it'll make as much detail as you need to sculpt the thing you're making. You don't get any deformation as you go, and it is an incredibly smooth way to work. You can build up huge amounts of an object very quickly. This is, of course, time-lapse photography. I've sped up this footage quite a bit for the purposes of this video. They need to be about 5 to 10 minutes long, so I've sped this up considerably, but still, just using the basic tools. There's a draw tool, which basically adds and removes material from the surface. You've got a grab tool, which will grab a part of the model and stretch it about. You've got a snake hook tool, which is similar to the grab, but you can pull out great sections of the model and it will keep making more topology, more polygons, so that you don't deform the model. It will build. You can see right here, that's what I'm doing with these roots. it just pulls them out and makes them a new limb with its own new topology, which is really handy, which you can go straight into and sculpt some detail on top of, like I've done here with the bark details. That's essentially what I'm doing here, is just carving in all this detail, building up the ridges, giving it a nice tree look. It's got the basic shape, the basic face. I've added all the teeth. It's got some nice furrows. It's looking good. The branches are nice and curly, and now it's just a matter of adding in all that detail to all the various parts. And as an added bonus, I'll be uploading the STL file to the Burton Tree to my Cults account. So again, you can click on the link in the description below to head on over to my Cults account. Again, I'm Taterbeard over there as well. And there you'll find the STL file to the Burton Tree, so if you have access to a 3D printer and you'd like your own fantasy, creepy, Tim Burton-esque tree, feel free to download it and give it a print out. At the end of this video, you'll see a short clip of one that I printed out myself, doing a nice turn on my Lazy Susan. It's printed up really nicely. I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. Almost done, and I'm just working with a stylus here. It's a little bit tricky to get any kind of precise sculpting movements with a mouse, so I do recommend some kind of stylus, some kind of drawing tablet. When using the sculpting tools, it makes life a heck of a lot easier. And here we see what I've done with it. I've moved this into the render mode so you can see the actual lighting, and I want to try and get a glow in its mouth. So now I've just dropped a couple of lights directly into the mouth and the lights. I've tinted them green, glued it up nicely, and it came out nice. And here we see the STL. That's a printed 3D version of the exact same file you were just watching me sculpt, all printed out and painted nicely. Head over to my Cults account, as I mentioned, to download that. Well, that's it for the first video. Thanks everybody for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or a question in the section below, and please like the video and subscribe to the channel for further content. But for now, I'm the Taterbeard, signing off.